Hey guys, Czar here. Good morning to you. Hope all is well. Happy Friday to you. It's January the 12th, 9:29 a.m., 1 minute before the open of New York. Watching the three sisters here, NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow 1 minute charts with VWAP. That's volume weighted average price down the middle there with 2.5 standard deviations up there and down here, the red lines. We'll be watching this very closely, of course, going into the open. 30-minute zones on the Dow chart. You can see we're kind of ranging here in between this piece right here, right? The high that was set at around 4 a.m. this morning, New York time, and 6:30. And now we're going in to tap the top end of that. The S&P, rather similar picture, but tapping this slightly higher zone here already. And then the NASDAQ looking to make a move higher here, but we'll see what happens right on the open, which happens in 15 seconds from now. This is a 2-minute chart. I'm going to drop down to the 1-minute chart, and then we will see the open range. There it is. There's the first candle, first 1-minute candle opening. Let's take a look at the three sisters. You will see the 1-minute open range forming. Those little pink lines there, 1, 2, 1, 2. As that moves out to the right when more candles print, but it will be set at the end of the 1 minute to set that 1-minute open range. You'll notice that on my charts now too, I also have the prior day high and prior day low. You'll see it here on the Dow chart, high and low, which feeds back from the prior day, right? Right there, there's the low and the high. And now we wait and see. We wait and watch. I'll be cutting out dead air, sideways grinding action, non-teaching moments, things of that nature to keep this video nice and tight. We'll see if we can get a trade here this morning. When I say get a trade, by the way, I'm actually not seeking trades. I'm just waiting to see if I get an optimal setup. If I do, if it's so compelling that I have no choice, then I will flip the coin and call heads and see what we can do. But I'm not actually looking to actively trade. I trade once or twice a day, typically, on average. When VIX is over 20, that's a different ball game. I may trade 3 to 5 times a day. But right now, VIX is very low. And let me take a look at that while I got you here. It's 12.5 right now, so below 13. And that's a low VIX. So again, I'm looking for optimal setups here before taking a trade. Open range has been set, and now we wait and we watch. All right, guys, we're back watching the S&P here. You can see we're trying to break here out of the open range in this bullish configuration. I'm struggling to consider longs here given how extended we are here in the pre-market, see on the 30-minute chart, but also slamming into a zone and heading towards the prior day's high. That's a bit problematic for me, so I likely won't be looking for a long here. The NASDAQ, let's take a look. Looking more bearish, of course. Trying to make a run for it here on the open and then dropping almost immediately in the pre-market and then dropping immediately on the open. But now looking like it may want to make a move. Again, we are at a zone. I just revised this zone up, by the way. It was down here because of these equal bodies that we have so far here on the 30-minute chart. Prior day's high is up here. Dow basically tapping the prior day's high. Here are the three sisters. All right, guys, we're back watching the Dow now. Very much the weakest of the three. See this, the NASDAQ strong, weakest, breaking below. Now they're below the open range. Looking to go short here, guys. I'd like to see a pullback first if I can, but if I'm not going to, that's fine. Sell stop. Not yet. I'm not live yet. I'll tell you when. All right, sell stop, guys, right there. Sell stop order. I'll fix these markers here in a moment. Bear with me for one moment. Actually, stop, guys, above the high right there. Not triggered in yet. This, by the way, guys, is in anticipation of a breaking of this 30-minute candle. See that rejection wick? That's important. 1, 2 zones, and the prior day's high has been tapped. And so now looking for this to break, but I'm taking it a bit early here. We've got 7.5 minutes left in this 30-minute candle. I would sometimes or often wait for that to actually break before taking this. But given that we are threatening to break the low end of the opening range, I'm willing to take that coin flip on this one. Assuming we break, as you'll see, I'm not just jumping in and waiting for things to happen. It has to break and prove itself. And I'm in, guys. I just got triggered in on my platform. I'm short the Dow here. Short the Dow. My primary target is 1R as always on this model. Razor's Edge index trading model. There's 1R. We'll also look to see if we can get 1.5 and 2R on this. For now, I'll put you on pause and we'll wait for this thing to play out. Back in a bit. And target 1 has been hit. So the 1R all or nothing trader has left the game with full profitability. This is the primary target of the model. And now we'll see if the 1.5 and 2R all or nothing traders can reach profitability as well. Of course, the 2R move stop to break even at 1R has now moved their stop to break even because we hit 1R. So they will either get 2R or break even and nothing in between. This, guys, is a zone reversal trade of sorts. You can see that we had rallied up here in the pre-market, tapped 1, 2 zones, and essentially tapped the prior day's high. And that's critical to this as well. Time of day, then rounding back down after a micro double top, 1, 2, breaking structure, flipping EMAs, 9 below the 21, a little pullback, and then break below the low end of the open range. And that's my entry. And you saw that happen here. Now I'll see if we can hit the 1.5. Let's see if we can nail that thing here together. And target 2 has been hit, so the 1.5 our all or nothing trader has left the game as well. Nice clean move down here this morning, guys. Nice way to start a Friday. Let's see if we can nail the 2R as well. Wouldn't that be nice? And target 3 has been hit. I got to tell you, that was a tough one to hold, especially after we hit 1.5 and then had this really big pullback. At least it felt big in the moment. Of course, it's very orderly, nice and clean, and stayed below the 21. But all 4 models are fully profitable on this. Turned out to be a nice clean move all the way down, even though we have this disruption. And then again, getting very close in this little pullback. But that's the nature of trading. Ebb and flow, impulse corrective. Again, guys, lots of overhead pressure here. The prior day's high double topping into it above the open range. So 1 minute open range and then breaking down below. Finding a little bit of support there, a little tiny pullback, remaining in negative moving average configuration and then breaking out and below the pivot and the open range lower piece. And the 30-minute reason, of course, is this rally into prior key zone from earlier in the European session and very key zone from the crossover between Europe and New York yesterday. Big rejection, big sell-off from there. So these sellers were intent as they were here. And then again, failure here on the open to remain up higher, breaking through one zone, tapping a second, and essentially tapping the prior day's high. Thanks for being here today, guys. Have an amazing afternoon. If I don't see you again today, have a killer weekend. Appreciate your support. Thanks for saying hi in the comments and for clicking that like button. Weekend. Talk soon.